So we will talk about how much I have been rambling on with myself for the last 30 minutes or so. If you're just tuning in, thanks for being here. I'm Fitz. Welcome to the channel. We are getting ready to take delivery of November 622 Alpha Romeo, the brand new FlightFX VisionJet G2. Hey, Sean. Yeah, I've been rambling. I've been talking to myself here for about 15 minutes. I didn't hit go live in the dashboard, so here we are. Anyway, we are on the ground in Knoxville. We have got a lot to talk about, but we are actually all the way through our pre-flight. We've already got batteries on. We've got generators on. We've got so much to re-talk about. We just got done programming our flight plan in, and we're looking at that on the map as we speak. Is this my range? No. Is this my range? That is. All right, so we are down here in Knoxville at the delivery center of Cirrus, heading up to Lancaster County, just north of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. About a 470-mile flight, fairly much, or pretty much. This Attune intersection, I need to double check that. That doesn't look right. So anyway, we are down here in Knoxville, and we're going to be heading pretty much straight northeast up to Lancaster County in this brand new VisionJet. Let me take a look at the flight plan here. Oh, it's Attune. That's the intersection. Okay. So anyway, we've got to make a small correction. I gotta tell Lisa thank you for coming and letting me know we weren't live. That's pretty helpful. Okay, we've got to change this. Actually, we need to delete this waypoint. We're gonna remove that, and then we're gonna add a tomb. And then there we go. Yep, there we go. That's probably going to make a lot more sense now. Let's go here. Let's show on map. Let's take a look. There it is. So we're going to leave out of Knoxville here. Pretty much head straight pretty much just go direct Attune at this point. We're not on any arrival. Or not on any departure tonight. We're just going to radar vectors to Attune, Congo, Hotel Victor Kilo, and then we're gonna jump on the J6 all the way up to Hyper intersection just north of the Maryland border there, so that we can get on into Lancaster County. All right. So with that being said, we are all set from a flight plan perspective, and well, I think it's gonna want us to put a destination in here, so we'll go ahead and do that, and then we will throw in Lancaster County. There we go. We go back, our flight plan is complete. We're going to accept that, so we're all set now and ready to go. At this point, we can start this jet and get rolling, and we're going to do that. The beauty of this FlightFX Series VisionJet is that you can jump in it and be ready to go by hitting 4 switches and a start button. That's it. That's all you need. And as the rain picks up here in Knoxville, so we need to get rolling. So without further ado, let's get this thing started up. And I'm gonna go really quiet, jack the volume up. I want you to hear the sounds of this aircraft. We're gonna flip our generators on. We don't have a beacon, so we're gonna go ahead and throw our strobes here on. Okay. And you know what we should do? We should follow our built-in checklist. That's right. This thing comes with pretty much ready to go checklist here. So we've already did our briefing. Doors are already latched. Parking brake is set. Batteries are on and okay. We're good there. We don't have the external GPU hooked up right now. We didn't need it. So engine start, strobe lights on. CAS messages is acknowledged. Thrust is at idle. Brakes are held. We're going to turn engine knob to run. We're going to go ahead and mark these as complete. We're going to listen for that fuel pump. We're going to verify engine start. We're going to watch our temps there. And then we're going to hit that engine, or we're going to hit that engine button to run. And engine instruments to monitor. So it's pretty much just a very easy start process here. And as we do that, here we go. Listen to these sounds in this aircraft. Fuel pump's kicked on. It's priming. Here it's sucking fuel. Let's go ahead and hit run on this puppy. Gorgeous sounds. I will tell you, and that's another thing I talked about is, you know, let's get this in the air, and then we will just continue to just kind of gush over how amazing this aircraft is. By the way, folks, if you're here from the Discord, or if you're here for the video that went out yesterday about the FAQ of this amazing jet, thanks so much for being here. I'm Fitz. Appreciate you tuning in. Had a little bit of a flub there early, but that's okay. We're up and running now, and we are good to go. So let's run that after start checklist, shall we? We've got to do this the proper way. Engine start. We obviously went through the engine, the IPS. We don't need that. That's anti-ice protection. We are ice protection. We are the ECS control panel we're set. We're actually going to turn that air on now. Get a little bit of warm running in the cabin. Oxygen master switch is going to be set to verify on. There's master. Kick on the fresh air there. We're also going to turn on that pitot heat. So much automation built in this jet, it's unreal. Caps pin is removed. That is confirmed. We've already briefed the passengers. Hey, just sit back and be quiet and enjoy the ride. And then bleed switch is fresh air. We just set that. All right. So before taxi, we've got comms and navigation. We're set there. ATIS, we're going to pretend we're offline right now. We are going to cheat and set our baro right there, which is 2099. So we're all set there. Transponder, we're going to set to, we'll go ahead and turn that on. Altitude reporting, so that's all set, even though it's pretty much useless until we're on VATSIM. That's okay. Heading and initial altitude set. So we're going to come down here to the control panel and roll in 5,000. We will sync our heading when we get on the runway, because we're going to be runway heading. And then flight controls are free and clear. We do need to set our trim. So the Vision Jet, I won't say it's trim sensitive, but it's very unique aircraft than what you've probably ever flown before. And as you see there on the MFD, we're going to roll that trim in. We're going to roll it up to 6 degrees, right about there. We're going to make sure we'll hit flaps before we take off. Roll set there. Toga, we're going to go ahead and press that on the side of the throttle right there. That's going to command our 5 degrees up and keep us on, it's going to give our flight director a wings level. Cast messages, we are blank. No more here since we got the pitot heat on. Of course, seats in the upright and locked position. Hey, Lisa, put your seat up. We're ready to go. All right, so parking brake. We're going to release here and get going in just a second. So we are ready to taxi. Let's go pull that weather for Tyson McGee here. Uh, 260 at 9. So or 360 at 9. So we're going to be taking runway 23 out of here. Don't believe, yeah, we're taking runway 23, so we are going to have to back taxi a little bit. That's okay. We are ready to taxi at this point. So without further ado, let's get the takeoff lights on, because this aircraft does not have, let's get those landing lights on rather. This aircraft does not have taxi lights. There's so much automation. there's a point to all of this and cover all of that. There is a click spot right here for the parking brake. However, the parking brake is underneath the dash. Really hard for you to see it normally in the cockpit, so that's why it's there. A little bit of go-go juice to her. And she breaks free. Pop outside. What an amazingly gorgeous aircraft. The detail is incredible. And it's so easy on frames. Those of you that are familiar with the FlightFX Honda Jet, this will feel right at home. Very unique in the mission that this aircraft could fill. This plane, and I talked about it so much in the early going when I wasn't streaming. It fits the role of a turboprop in a single engine jet form. So it's got turboprop performance. You're not going to climb out at 250 knots. As a matter of fact, barber pole is 250 knots in this aircraft. So you're not going to come out of here screaming. It's just not how this thing's going to operate. You're going to need some time. It's going to take a little bit to get up to flight level 310 because it can do that. It can get up to RVSM airspace. It can do 310 just fine. And you're not going to go nonstop from New York to LA in this thing. That's not the mission this aircraft is meant to perform. As you saw, oh, you probably missed it. Yeah, you did miss it. I put full fuel in this coming from the delivery center, and me and the family got loaded up, and we were overweight. We had to pump a little bit of fuel out of this aircraft so that we could get it in the air. And do it safely. So here we are. Taxiing pretty quick there. I need to make it slower down. A little bit of right rudder needed here to get it into Knoxville. Or get it out of Knoxville. Pretty gusty afternoon here as well. We'll finish running the checklist down here at the end. No point in trying to do it here as we got quite a bit of wind from the right side. Kind of giving us a shove a little bit, so I want to give as much focus to taxiing. One thing I'll make an observation of, I was going to wait to do this until after we got in the air, but my goodness, look at these windows. They're massive. Let's see, I was viewing or panning around with my mouse and it locked out the controls. But no, the windows are massive here. This thing, they call it the Tesla of the sky, and I definitely get it. Alright, so let's get ready down here at the end. We already know we need to go flaps 50. So we are flaps 50 there. Our trim is already set at 6. We're coming to the very end here. Now this aircraft does have an auto throttle. We're gonna climb out at takeoff power. And as you'll see, we'll need quite a bit of it, but that's okay. She's got enough to get us in the air. She's just not going to be a sports car. Go ahead and get ready to make this departure right here off of 23 left. Pull up to the hold short line. Pull her stopped. Let's pop the parking brake. Run through the checklist real quick. So our passengers are briefed. Our landing lights are on. A bit of probe heat is set. Engine IPS as required. We're all set there. Actually, we probably... Yep, trim set, flap set. We are all set. We are good to go before takeoff. Multifunction, we'll get that squared away here in just a second. And we'll call that, there we go. We're going to go ahead and throw all of our ice protection on. Just because we're going to be climbing through some precipitation. So what we're going to do for the takeoff experience here, we're going to set our brakes. We're going to hold them. Run thrust all the way up to engine or up to takeoff. We're going to check our values there. And then we're going to rotate at 80 to 90 knots. I believe speed bug here. Yep, there we go. So we're going to be able to speed bug. We're going to climb out 165. We're going to rotate at around 90. And then you'll see those pop up here. They will be up here and ready for us to capture in just a second. Well, then we'll just continue our climb. Pitch up for 5 degrees. Until we get a positive rate, we'll pull the gear up, flaps up, and then just continue our climb. So we're ready to go. I hope you are too. Takeoff here in the Vision Jet. Out of Knoxville, heading to Lancaster. Parking brake is off. Some amazing sound effects by the FlightFX team. I can't imagine how many Vision Jets have flown in and out of Knoxville tonight on that sense. Probably been really crazy. Alright. Lineup check. I see 2-3 left. Concur on the heading. Let's hit that bug sync real fast. Make sure we are all set there. We are. Runway heading. We're going to pitch for 5 degrees. And then we'll get the autopilot on once we get airborne. Foot on the brake. Feet on the floor. We're going to run engine power all the way up to takeoff. Alright, power set, brakes release. Looking for 90 knots on the rotation. Little bit of right rudder. Not a whole lot, but that's just due to the weather. Airspeed's alive. Our rotation speed's coming up. We release that right rudder pressure. Here comes the nose. Positive rate, we're going to throw that gear up. And we will go ahead and call the flaps up as well. Bring the nose down just a little bit. Just to pick up some of that airspeed. Remember, keep in mind, this thing's not going to climb out like a jet. Alright, so we're going to roll our throttle back now to MCT, which is max continuous. Push bit got a little nose heavy there. Alright, now we can start pitching up a little bit. Let's go and get that autopilot on. Heading mode, and then we'll go flight level change. So we'll let her climb out. We got her in max continuous here. Alright, so after takeoff checklist, gears up, flaps up, we are clear there. We're just going to continue to monitor. And alright, so let's say we contact departure. And they give us direct, a tomb, which we were expecting. We're going to go direct there, a tomb on the G3000. And we're going to click nav. And we will see this aircraft in all its glory take us around to a tomb. We're about to level up at 5,000. Let's say they gave us our cruise now, 310. So we're gonna work on making our way up there to the flight levels. Now, remember, like I said, this aircraft is not going to get up there quickly, and that's okay. Let's go ahead and get that flight level change rolled in. There we go, wrong button. There we go. Then we're gonna lead off some speed. We'll climb about 175, and it's gonna be a rocket here for a few minutes until that speed bleeds off. But we're winding in 310 here on the altitude. Straight into the fog. You're not missing anything outside. Let's take a look actually in external view. Not missing anything. We are in the soup coming out of Knoxville. Yeah, John, once you can figure out your issues, we can certainly can. All right, so we're going to 310. Perfect. We're climbing at 175, which is exactly where I want to be. We're picking up about 1,600 feet a minute, which is right where we need to be. And we are direct now. Actually, let's just give her a reset once again, because we did have to spin around. That'll get us much more the correct direction. There we go. All right, so we are on the climb. Let's go take a look here at our climb checklist, shall we? And let's go take a look at the climb checklist. All right, so thrust is at MCT. We're there. Engine parameters we're monitoring. Cabin pressure, we're going to continue to monitor ice protections as required. And altitude transition, or altimeter transition, we're going to change that at 18,000. So we're all set. We're in the climb. We are past 8,600 here. So actually what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and kill those landing lights. Don't need them anymore. And we're climbing. We're climbing out of Knoxville. As I said, this aircraft is going to give you a lot like turboprop performance. And that I mean you're going to climb at 160 to 170. You're going to get to 310, but it's going to take some time. Your approach speed is going to be unlike any other jet you've flown. Your approach speed is going to be around 90 knots. Your VREF could be, as low as 80 in some instances. So this thing in terminal area behaves a lot more like a turboprop, and there's a reason for that. Cirrus wants this aircraft to be the perfect launching point from the SR-22. The turboprop that everybody kind of knows and loves. This should be a jumping off point for those pilots, and that's why they make it this way. Gotta make sure here. Turn back, continuous. Yep, no, that's max continuous. Above 10,000 here. So this thing's we're pretty heavy on fuel, pretty heavy on a load. That's okay. We're gonna see if we can get to 310. Take our sweet time here, and if we need to slow this down a little bit, actually we can do that too. We're rolling a little slower speed. Just looking to get above this soup, and as we're starting to, man, oh! Chat, I'm gonna be honest with you. How incredible was that view coming through the clouds? These massive windows. Just gorgeous. Hey Tom, how's it going? You just finished your flight from Vegas or from Los Angeles? Wouldn't give you a post-flight stat screen. Are you talking about in Flight Sim? Like actually in Flight Sim, it didn't give you the stat screen? And I'm glad to hear you're having a lot of fun. FlightFX did a superb job of putting this together. It's just a masterpiece. I have thoroughly loved it. For the little bit of time I've got to fly it, I've put together some videos on it already that'll come out. Yeah, Tom, so that's really interesting. So, I personally don't ever get that screen, but I don't ever, very, very rarely do I ever fly any of the default aircraft. So I can't tell you the last time I even seen that screen. I also, and maybe this is just an error on my part, I never put a destination on the world map screen because I do most of my routing through the sim, through whatever navigational tool I have. So, maybe there's that. You know, one thing I haven't done is kick on the auto throttle, which we should probably do, which I just did. There, yeah, you see it commanded a little bit of a lower speed. That's okay. You know, this aircraft does come with an auto throttle by default, which is, you know, they did a great job of modeling it. I just don't know if I see the point. You can do so much with it. And this thing is not, again, it's not meant to be it's not meant to be a serious citation. It's not meant to be it's not even meant to be like a Premier 100 or Phenom 100. It is strictly meant to be a 4 to 5 passenger, 500-mile mission aircraft, and it does that well. Oh, you were on Xbox. That explains a lot, Tom. That does. Okay, I get you now. I understand. Yeah, FlightFX knocked this out of the park. Are you part of the Discord? They're already working on a hotfix. There's a couple small things that people have found that they're working on. I know some Xbox Series X folks have been struggling a little bit. So they're already working on that. And I see a long life for this aircraft. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. Is the Honda Jet available for console? I don't know that personally. I'm not a console flyer. While we are up here, we're going to get rid of our checklist. We are still in the climb. We're just continuing to monitor. Probably at 1,100 feet a minute. That's not terrible. And we're in the climb. Yaw damper. We're at flight level change at 165. The FMS is commanding that for us now with the auto throttle on. We are out of the pre-sit. And wings look relatively clear. We're going to call those clear, so we're going to go ahead and turn off all our anti-icing. Well, I take that back. They're not anti-icing measures. They're actually, what they're meant to be used for is de-icing. So you're meant to use them as a form of how to clear the ice when it forms, not prevent it. I did that probably a little too soon because we're about to roll through another cloud bank here. Man, what gorgeous views out this cockpit. This cockpit here. I believe this takes us to the back. Which one is it? I hate camera views in Microsoft Flight Sim. I hate them. Yep, this is the back seat. So we're back here, sitting in the back. The Bose headphones sitting on the seat, and we are cruising. Let's see if we can take a look out the window here. Man, how about that? Incredible plane. One of the things that I was really intrigued about as we continue our climb here, actually, we're going to go ahead, we're going to call that 18,000. We're going to go ahead and set standard 18,000. Fuel, let's take a look. Back, what am I looking for? Aircraft systems. Let's take a look at. Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, there we go. Outside, yep. No, that's not what I'm looking for. This is fine. We are direct right now, the Tomb intersection. We're not far from it, about 47 miles out of there. Then we're going to jump on the airways. Continuing to climb up here. We're all set in that regard. So 18,000 checks, no problems, no concerns. No bubbles, no troubles. We're climbing at FMS speed. we are happy. All right. So let's go into the VAMs real quick. Everybody hears that audio right now. When you started this jet, the headphones were on the dash here. And you go, well, why would they put them up there? Is it just cool to have them modeled in the sim? Well, it is, because I believe, and I could be corrected here, I do believe they went in and went to Bose and said, hey, give us the models of your headsets. We want to put them in our aircraft, and they got that approved. But here's the kicker. Let's go down here. Go to the Bose and the VAMs. Let's turn on that active noise canceling. Oh. And it literally sounds like you are... It literally sounds like you are... And I just realized probably how loud the sim was. But it sounds like you're on a headset. You have your A&R set up on a headset and you're cruising along here above 18,000 feet. That's really good to hear. I'm glad to hear that, Tom. I would have hated... This aircraft has so much promise to be so versatile for so many people, and to hear that some folks would have had an issue would have been disheartening. So I'm glad to hear that that everything's going well for you. That's really good. So again, we've got our A&R on. We are cruising. We've got the kid and her intercom isolated in the back. No big deal. Let's hop outside. What a gorgeous aircraft. I can't get over it. The detail, the modeling. There's been so many. There's been the Flying Fabio did a great stream on this thing yesterday. I did another today, just pouring over all the details in this aircraft. And I won't bore you with, but it's just incredible the detail that's available, both in the cockpit but also on the outside. All right, so let's take a look at our performance here. We're still climbing okay. 1,100 feet a minute past 220. You see the FMS pulled our climb back a little bit, put our climb speed back to 160. That's okay. We're still doing pretty good. As you see, we're doing 227 true airspeed. We got a bit of a tailwind, not much, about 5. That'll probably be about 3 knots on the tail, really. 271 over the ground. But we will get leveled off here in about 9 minutes. Camera's kind of stuttering. Really? Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know. I can't really fix that right now. Huh. But with that being said, this thing is phenomenal. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just solve all of our problems with the camera. Kill it. This thing deserves all of its own story. It really does. Clouds are starting to clear up as we move north. I know I've had a lot of folks stop by and on the stream, so I appreciate that. A lot of folks have been here. They watched the FAQ from earlier, that was posted yesterday. There's so much information I could share about this thing. I want to start, though, with the G3000. So... Oh, no, I appreciate it. I just don't know what's going on. So the G3000, this aircraft, I'm sorry, this avionics suite it should be very familiar to those of you that are pretty frequent flight simmers. This is the working title G3000 that Nico and the team over at FlightFX spent a lot of time making sure system pages and that type of thing was modeled very well. And they've done a fantastic job of that. One thing, though, that... One thing, though, that is a little different than what maybe some of you have been used to on the Honda Jet is that this working title version is pretty much stock from a flight computing sense. Marwin over at FlightFX, the one responsible for the Honda Jet, has done a fantastic job putting all sorts of VNAV functionality and things like that in it. And Nico and the team knew that working title were getting ready to throw in an update or put out a really big update into this avionics package in the next quarter or so, which actually turns out to be January, I believe. They're going to release an update to the working title G3000. But they wanted to get this aircraft into folks' hands, so they did a great job of modeling these fantastic aircraft pages here, these systematic pages. Put in the VAMs installed, make sure the screens were broke up into the correct categories, things like that. But after that, they said, no, that's enough. We're not going to do anything more until after working title rolls out that G3000 release. Nico and the team over at FlightFX is then committed to making sure once they have something in their hands and something they know that they can start working on, that won't not necessarily be a waste of time, but something that they will be able to leverage for a while. They are going to be updating this jet with that package. So everybody's favorite topic, what about VNAV and things like that? Everybody's really focused on VNAV for some reason. That will be coming in the update to the working title G3000. But currently this aircraft only supports VNAV advisory, which is perfectly fine, and it works just fine. And I'll show you that as we work our descent into Lancaster here in a little bit. So we're getting close to the top of climb here. 26.7 for 310. We started with just a little over. Oh goodness, we had a good bit of fuel on board. I cannot recall how much we said. Would it still be? No, it's not. I think we started somewhere close to 90% in both tanks. It was like 100 and I can't remember how many gallons it was. But we are pretty much right at the limit with passenger weight plus fuel. We're not going to use all the fuel to get up to Lancaster, but we are certainly going to use quite a bit of it. But we've got enough to get there. Now, let's talk about turning this down a little bit. There we go. We can do that. So let's talk about some of the tools that are available for this thing. If you head on over to the FlightFX Discord, you're going to find the paint kit. Folks are already putting together fantastic paints for this aircraft, and I may give it a shot myself. So they're already putting together paint kits. A sim brief profile is available for all of you to use if you'd like to have that available. That is ready to go. A spad.next, I think that's what it's called, spad next profile is available for all you home cockpit builders. There's an 82 plus page manual now for this aircraft. So really a lot of community support already. I highly encourage you to head on over to the FlightFX Discord if you haven't already done so. They're going to be posting, they're already working on a patch, a hotfix for a couple of small items that have been discovered by the users. It sounds like the ground GPU may be a little wonky and a couple other things. So I fully expect them to have a hotfix out pretty quick. Oh, it's a little turbulent. Do you guys see that? I know Fabio found a couple issues yesterday with the headphones during a stream with a release version of the aircraft, and they were able to not only fix the problem while he was streaming, they were also able to incorporate that fix into the marketplace and into the release version of this aircraft, which is unheard of. I've never seen a developer in one swoop, or within 24 hours of a release, find an issue, fix it, and then get it out to the different areas where they, you know, where the aircraft will be made available. It is bumpy up here. Let's take a look. We're almost at the top of the climb here, and we are just riding the top of these clouds, just trying to get going on our way. We are now direct Congo intersection. Let's actually pan out a little bit, give ourselves a little bit of range. And we just got our 1,000 to go there. That, there we go. So yeah, we just got our 1,000 to go. Let me turn our volume back up a little bit. Those A&R headsets working really good. As you see, our FMS is continuing to degrade our speed a little bit. But we are continuing the true air speeds, you know, okay. Our ground speed's okay. Got a little bit of a tailwind. We're starting to get that tailwind like working in our favor here. Once we level off, which we're going to do here at about 500 feet or so, we will pick up a little bit more of that ground speed and really get boogieing along. This flight was only about an hour and a half or so in this aircraft. But once we get to cruise, we should be okay. Right now, using basically all she's got. And from what I understand, so this aircraft will mostly fly everywhere it goes in MCT. So that's max continuous thrust. It doesn't matter what's going on. Most operators of this aircraft are pretty much flying this thing right at max continuous thrust the entire time. All right, so with that being said, it looks like our FMS is commanded Mach 5.2. And we are leveling off ever so slowly here at 310. And we're starting to pick up that speed as we expected. Thanks everybody who's tuning in right now. Just to introduce myself, I'm Fitz. Appreciate you being here. We are flying the FlightFX Vision Jet G2, just released today about 3 p.m. Eastern or so. Long-awaited release from the FlightFX crew. If you haven't made yourself familiar with them, I strongly would. They are going to be a player in the flight sim community for some time. And if you've got your finger on the button to purchase this jet, or you're hesitant for any reason, I don't know why. This thing is a phenomenal aircraft for what you get. It's a perfect jet for flight sim. This is those of you that are new to the Serious Jet world or don't know what it is, this is basically Cirrus advertises it as the next step up from the SR22 turbo. If those of you that are familiar with single engine props that a lot of folks really learn to fly in. Those are the kind of those first aircraft, SR20s, SR22s. Those are those training aircraft that the aspiring pilots really step into. This is the next step up above that, and this is where you really start picking up jet time. They want this aircraft to fit right in and be a natural progression step up. However, this aircraft fits the mold, the flying profile more of a turboprop, more of a TBM, maybe even a little less than that, maybe a M600 Piper or something like that effect. The service ceiling is 310, which we are comfortably cruising at right now. We're continuing to gain speed, pick up that ground speed. That FMS was working on. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. We are steadily picking up that speed, as you can see, chat. Remember, we were close to was it 210 true? We're up to 270 now, 349 over the ground. We're still picking up a little bit of speed with heading up to Mach 5.2, and we're cruising now. We're in max continuous, like I said earlier. That would be the mode that most operators are going to operate this thing in. So anyway, back to what I was saying. This aircraft is mostly going to be a regional, very light jet. And by regional, I mean less than 600 miles. 4 passengers, maybe 5 on a very light fuel load and a cool day. That's where you're going to be with this aircraft. You're not going to stack 8 people in this thing. You're not going to take them to, 2,500 miles like you would say the Citation. You really, that's just not what this mission is for. It's what this aircraft is for. It is meant to be single pilot. It is meant to be, flown at single pilot oriented. And it's meant to the next step up from a SR-22. Now, with that being said, this aircraft also is, I mean, it's easy to handle. It is the Tesla of the skies. I was talking about that earlier, probably before I was even streaming. You get into this thing, if you wanted to go VFR, if you wanted to fly VFR with minimal, say, flight planning per se, you could jump in, hit 4 switches, or I'm sorry, you can jump into your pre-flight, hit 4 switches, and start the engine. And the start of the engine is literally a turn of a knob and a push of a button. You don't have to monitor for anything. You don't have to worry about accidentally hot starting the aircraft. It is about as easy as it gets in the flight sim or in the aircraft world. It does a lot of automation for you already, not unlike the Honda Jet, or not a whole lot different than the Honda Jet. The Honda Jet does the same thing. FATIC controlled engine starts. And so much so the lights are even automated than the Honda Jet. This is not necessarily that automated per se, but it does it in its own way. What isn't modeled in the G3000 is the Garmin safe return option. So basically we come up here, press the big red button, I think that's probably that right there, and say, hey, our pilot is incapacitated, please take us to the closest airport. It'll decide what the closest airport is, it'll read the weather, it'll change the transponder code, it'll say, hey, we're an emergency aircraft through automated voices on a frequency. This thing will fly you all the way to the nearest suitable airport and land you without a single person touching the controls. That is not modeled, but no aircraft really truly has that modeled. I think the Sting does, but that's it. And I think that's just more caps related. That is not related to the safe return, but a lot of developers say they're very close to doing it. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Welcome to the channel. I'm Fitz. Appreciate you being here, flying along. Our first true flight in the Cirrus VisionJet G2 from FlightFX. Heading up to Lancaster, taking delivery of this gorgeous machine. And when I say gorgeous, it really, really is. The modeling and the detail here that the team over at FlightFX has gone into, it's really, really spectacular. If we were to lower the gear, man, you can tell it is a bumpy ride. If we were to lower the gear, you'd be able to see all the different hoses, the brake manufacturers, things like that. All that would be available to see. I tell you what, a lot of folks are not, they're just not sure what to think of this shape. I don't care what you say. This thing is gorgeous. I mean, it looks like a little, I was telling my wife earlier, it looks like a little Zoom Zoom. That's what it is, and that's what this is meant to be. This is meant to be, excuse me, this isn't meant to be the Ferrari 599. This isn't going to be your Maserati or your Aston Martin or your Bentley. You know what this is going to be? This is going to be your Miata. Small, compact, fun to cruise around. You can kind of daily it. It's really simple to work on, but it's just dead nuts reliable. That's what this aircraft is supposed to be, and I think they've nailed it right on the head. What are you talking about, John? What setting? What do you mean? By the way, chat, if you're new to the aircraft and you have questions, please ask. I'm pretty comfortable with the G3000. Also, fairly comfortable with the VAM system already. This is a very similar setup since this is the working title G3000. Very similar to the Honda Jet, which I've done in, I don't know, probably 50, 60, 70 hours in. So, yeah, feel free to ask all the questions you got. John, I don't know what you mean by that, but what my VAM's setting config. It depends on, oh, are you talking about like what config cabin I'm running? Oh, this is going to be corporate, or the executive. This is the 4-seat. Yeah, executive. Now, with that being said, I hate to break the folks' heart over in Cirrus, who did a fantastic job of putting my aircraft together. This will not be the final version that I run. I will be needing to get this thing painted, and I will have to have extra seats added to the back. Sorry, I was just going through some text messages. But yeah, no, I will definitely have to have some extra seats added to the back of this thing. This it's like a minivan. Did you find out what was causing your problems, Math? So, and if you haven't, I'd recommend going over to the Discord at this point. You've got, I honestly feel like it's a control conflict. Yeah, family and complete both do. Family complete both do. You are spot on. Taking a look here at our flight plan. Direct Hotel Victor, Quebec, and then we're going to jump on J6 all the way up here to the hyper intersection, and then we will start our descent into Lancaster. Now, I mentioned that this aircraft does not have, man, and our speed got right up there. 345 over the ground, 305 true air. What an incredible little machine, for what this thing is. Again, out these just, you know, Fabio was talking about earlier how just amazing these windows are, and I'm like, yeah, that looks really cool, but it doesn't really. The effect is, it doesn't. You don't get the effect on stream because these things are massive. Anyway, so we were talking about how you do not, that this aircraft does not support VNAV. It is not available in the working title G3000. However, what is and what you can do, we're going to do this, or actually, we're not going to check that. We will check our weather here in just a little bit. Oh, goodness, where is it going to be? Oh, VNAV right here. So, we're going to go ahead and enable this. Okay? We're going to go ahead and enable this so that we can be... you know what? Let me pull the METAR for Lancaster. Probably... Oh, let's see. And I hate to do this outside of the sim, but just easier right now. So current weather advisory, 140 at 7. So let's go here. We are going to, actually, let's go here. Let's select an approach. Well, ILS runway 8, this thing. We're going to preview, show on map. Yeah, this will be okay. Is this, we go back to somewhere in a hole? Warp, Dalek, oh, okay. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, we have to take that transition. Okay. So we're going to load that. We're going to go back here. Let's, oh, we'll have to just go direct to Dalek. Okay. So anyway, let's make sure, let's just call this, we need to be here at 2,500. I think that's a little low, but okay. So we need to be at 2,500 there. So let's take a look at VNav here. Now, active waypoint it's going to detect there. Time to top of descent, 40 minutes. And then obviously vertical speed target, 1,846 feet per minute. Flight path angle is 3 degrees. So that's what I mean when this has it's going to have vertical guidance. You're going to see that available to us here as we get a little bit closer towards the top of descent. Once we get past that hyper intersection, that VNav guidance come into play. It will not automatically descend the aircraft, but that's okay. We don't need it to. We are pilots. We can do it ourselves. No other plane? Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I've not seen anybody else report that issue at all. I mean, I've not had problems with it, clearly, so. Those of you that have been flying this thing, I really hope you're enjoying some of the other liveries. The Aluru and Raven. I know a lot of folks were excited to fly the Raven aircraft. That Raven black paint scheme. It looks very. Hopefully, a lot of folks are getting to fly that. Got some spam bots in the chat. You know you're big time when you're starting to get spam bots. You know you've made it, Maul, when you've got bots in chat. There we go. Cruising right along here. So this is calling for top of descent in about, you know what I noticed? Still have this showing on the map. I'm going to turn that off. There we go. We will pull up that chart here in just a little bit. We are now, oh goodness, about 4 miles away from Hotel Victor, Quebec, and then we'll make that right-hand turn and pretty much be dead, I would say pretty much direct, to the ILS, straight from there. And we're going to start that turn now. Let's take a look outside these big, gorgeous windows as this thing pitches to the right. One thing I am surprised about that I thought was a working title issue that is not, because it's clearly not done, it's not happening here, is the altitude capture issues that we were seeing in Marwin's Honda Jet, which is not prevalent here. Typically with about 400 to go, that aircraft gets a little unsteady, but this one's not doing it. So obviously some folks are having some issues with different things, so hopefully they get that cleaned up relatively quickly. Nico and the team over there was also talking about how this was not going to be an aircraft that just got thrown out in the marketplace and neglected. A lot of folks have that worry. I imagine I for the most part stay away from the marketplace. I have my reasons. I just don't like it. I don't want to. I prefer buy from the developer outside of the marketplace. However, anyhow, it seems like there's a lot of folks out there to put these just, you know, terrible add-ons out there. And just abandon them the minute they go live. They're just out there just cashing in a little bit of money and then they move on. I'm just not. I don't like that. It makes me a little skeezy to shop in the marketplace, but I had no choice here with this one. But anyway, back to my point. Nico and the team over at FlightFX, Luke even mentioned it too. This is not something they plan to put out there and just ignore. They have grand plans for this aircraft. Obviously, it's going to get the working title reworked G3000. They're already working on bug fixes. I think they have a hot fix list already, which is incredible because this thing just came out. So I know they're already actively working on some stuff. It is it's really good to see a wholesome, I won't say wholesome, but a well-to-do developer do something really smart, and by positioning themselves with quality content at this dollar point. Chat, I can't get over the fact. Let's go back outside one more time. I need to do it. If I were to tell you this thing could do full flight plans, SID stars, full autopilot, looks incredible, a lot of fun to fly, really easy to fly, and if I told you it was $24.99, you'd probably tell me I was crazy, but it is, and that's not a sale price. That is the price this thing has been positioned at, and I hope they have made piles of money today. They certainly deserve it. They certainly deserve all the opportunities they've been given. Alright, so we're on our way from Hotel Victor, Quebec over to the Perks intersection. We are cruising along here. 391 over the ground, nearing 400 knots. We've got a stiff tailwind, and that's helping us all the way home here. We'll take it. We're going to save a little bit on the gas bill, too. That's okay. You see the trim kind of working itself. It's a little bumpy up here, so you see that kind of bouncing back and forth. The cabin pressure is looking good. Obviously, we're a little high here at what the cabin altitude is, 8,100 feet, but that's just because we're at the ceiling of this aircraft at 310. We've got 209 gallons on board so far of fuel. I believe that would mean, let me go back here. Actually, let me just do this over here. It's on this side. That's not what I was looking for. Still getting used to their version. There we go. So we've used 60 gallons so far. We have a remaining 208. So we've got plenty of fuel on board to bring this thing all the way home. It looks like that's, yeah, they're calling that endurance 3 hours plus. We won't need that. We only need another hour or so. And this is also due to the tailwind. We've got to keep that in mind. A pretty stiff tailwind at 85 knots, straight on the tail, just pushing us along here. We wouldn't probably be getting this this type of range, if that weren't the case. So one really cool thing here is that the aircraft does not pull from both wings at the same time from a fuel position standpoint. You don't have to manage the fuel load on this aircraft at all. The aircraft does it for you, but it does it for you. It doesn't have a both or a combined fuel pump for both tanks. It'll actually sit here. If you watch it, it'll toggle between the left and right fuel pump to keep your tanks balanced. Within a certain variance and with a certain margin, of course, but for the most part, it'll sit here, just bounce between the two tanks to make sure that you're constantly staying balanced. You saw it right there. It was on the left tank and just flipped over to the right. This is all through the automation of the Cirrus Vision Jet. That is exactly how it works in the real aircraft. Those of you that are really familiar with PMDG and all those types of aircraft, realism is a lot of fun. There's some folks that may not enjoy it so much, but to me, this is the holy grail. Like, seeing things actually work the way they are intended to work. They're not just placeholders. I know yesterday Fabio was getting ready, and he was spending a lot of time going through the cockpit, clicking a bunch of things and playing with stuff. But ultimately, his battery it got to the point where it got below or got close to where it would not be able to sufficiently start the engine. That's incredible. Actual battery drain. Now, according to Peter, which is, I guess, one of the operators FlightFX worked with very closely to ensure the behavior of this aircraft, it'll sit on battery for a while. They have great batteries in these aircraft. You usually don't have to worry about it. So you can sit there, do all your flight planning and everything right there with the batteries on. Fabio was working on an hour plus and still going on, and Nico was like, "Hey, pick up your GPU. Your battery's gonna go flat here if you're not careful." So he certainly did that. Over here drinking terrible Coke for you, but it's so good, chat. Not sponsored unless they want to be. Anyway, tell you what, I have been incredibly impressed with the amount of folks that have come in and out of this stream tonight, and it's okay that you don't chat. Just know I appreciate you being here. If you haven't already done so, head on over to my channel here and hit subscribe. Would really appreciate that. And also to check out the video I put together yesterday, a frequently asked questions video that just talks about how all the different things available in this aircraft right before its release. And then make sure you're subscribed, because we've got a ton of content coming for this. You want to know how to start this aircraft up, start to finish, and get it in the air in under 5 minutes with a flight plan, you've come to the right place. I hope to get that video out here sometime the next day or so. There's so many things that we could talk about this aircraft. So many things. Look at this reflection. Oh, look at the fingerprints. Like, even that's modeled, because these are touch screens. Look at all that. Look at all those fingerprints. Ew. Somebody get the wipes. Need them. Alright, so let's pull flight plan real quick. Let's look at the VNAV advisory. This is saying 25 minutes to top of descent, which sounds about right. Let's pull in that range just a smidge. Oh, nope, we gotta go to page 2. There we go. Pull in a range just a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. Still humming right along here. Our tailwind died down a little bit, no longer 85 knots, a lowly 79, but it affected the ground speed just a little bit there. We're actually bouncing against the barber pole a little bit, just due to how fast, how good that tailwind is for us. We're in max continuous thrust, and we're boogieing. We are on our way up here. We don't have too much further to go. Let me see if I can... No, it's not going to have it. We're on our way to Perks, then Colds, T, then Martinsburg. That was that Mike Romeo Bravo VOR. Then we're pretty much direct the field for the ILS 8 arrival. Last time I checked it, we'll have to check it again here before we get too much closer. The wind was out of the wind was basically out of the southeast at 7 knots, so but yeah, here we are looking at What an absolute just gem of a little aircraft. I am so excited for this. This thing's going to do a lot of... This is going to be in my hangar for a while. We do a lot of flying with this thing. And I cannot wait for that G3000 to come out as well. That remake, that redo. Can't wait for that to come out. You know, I need to give a shout out to a couple folks. Let's see if I can find it. Give me just a second here, chat. See if I can find this here. Take a look. You know what? I can't find it. That's not helpful. I wanted to make sure I thought thanks to some of the folks who subbed to the YouTube channel here recently. We've had quite a few. Really step up and support the community over the last day or so. And I also see folks still really watching that FAQ video. So that's good to see. I'm glad to see a lot of folks are going out and searching for all the different tools that are available to them. This aircraft is not tricky to learn. I would argue that it just takes a little bit of finesse. It takes a little bit of time. Back chat. So anyway, no, I was going to thank a bunch of folks that actually have subbed to the channel, because this channel's seen a flurry of activity due to this aircraft, and I'm really appreciative of that. We're going to continue to fly this thing. Instead of a stream tomorrow, most likely do another video. Just the ins and outs of this aircraft. I know somebody was talking about the headphones in the VAMs, and it was a question on my frequently asked questions video. All you gotta do is go to the VAMs. This is terrible lighting for this. Let's see if we can go over here. There we go. And then go to Bose. And then you click that button right there. Now, there was a bug that was preventing this from happening yesterday. From my understanding, that was fixed. So we'll have to double check that. But all you have to do is just click this button right here, and they appear on the dashboard. You can also... This can blow some eardrums out, so be ready, chat. That's the sound without headphones on. That's what it sounds like through the ANR. Fancy stuff. Fancy stuff. Fuel page is looking good. No concern there. What is VNav saying now? 1812. I thought there was a place for it. This on. No. Maybe not. Alright, so let's pull up our checklist. Our descent checklist, let's make sure... Oh, it took the... Let's... There we go. And button change control. There we go. Okay. So for our descent checklist, we're gonna wait for the for that descent to come up, but then we're gonna roll our throttles back to whatever is required. We've got the landing field elevation that's already put in. Ice protection as required. We're gonna leave that on as it has been. That there. I will catch altimeter, and then we will also catch our seat belts there. So pretty straightforward all the way down here as we get ready to descend into Lancaster County down in southeast Pennsylvania, just north of Philly and the Baltimore area. We started off tonight at Tyson McGee, which is Knoxville, which is where the Cirrus Delivery Center is located, the eastern portion of Tennessee. And getting ready to take this thing, or we're taking this thing on its delivery flight, its maiden voyage, up to Lancaster as we get to call its new home there. Yeah. Okay. I understand this more now. I'm starting to get it. We're gonna go ahead and come down the line. We're all set there. You see that top of the descent marker is now right there between Martinsburg and the Hyper intersection. So we're getting ready to send this aircraft right on into Lancaster tonight. Still bumping along with that tailwind. 387 ground speed. That's really phenomenal. That very easily could have been a headwind for us, and we could have been crawling along. You know what I just noticed? I bet you... Yep. It's wanting us to go Lancaster, then back to Dalek. This is not going to. So once we got to remove this. We're not going to go to Lancaster, turn around, and come back to Dalek. And we maybe run the RNAV? Is that better? So, show this on the map. Just want to transition out of Dalek, honestly. Yeah, no, here we go. Off. Okay, I think that's going to make more sense here. I also think that's going to change. That's what I was afraid of. Yeah. We are below our top of descent. So we need to go ahead and start getting this thing headed down. And we're gonna do this so that we can oh, our autothrottles are on, but that's okay. Hopefully the FMS will keep up with us here. We're gonna go 2,000 feet a minute on our way down. Because now that I caught that, and I'm glad I did. Alright, FMS. Sort your life out. Pull back on the power. Get us out of the barber pole. It's slowly doing it there. So anyway, now that I got us pulled back all the way here a little bit, we are now heading down about 2,000 feet a minute. I'm glad I checked that flight plan because we needed to make sure we were all set there. Now, selecting that approach did not give us that. So let's do this. Close that. Let's chart. RNAV GPS 18. Okay. Yep. Coming to Delro. Looks like 3,000 is where we need to be. At 2,500 at Pole Q. Dalek 3. Yep. Okay. Not to worry. Let's put that in a flight plan so that we don't forget that. Okay, there we go. And then flight plan. We need to be at Dalek at 3,000. Full Q 2,500. Okay. There we go. A little more put together. Let's check the VNav now. How far are we off? Not terribly far off. We could actually probably slow our vertical a bit here. Bring that up just a little bit so we're not killing all the speed off. Hey, my Tesla family, thanks for tuning in. You need to go check out FlightFX. You can go onto the marketplace and get this aircraft. It just came out today. I appreciate you asking because I want to push as many people as I possibly can to this aircraft. FlightFX has done a fantastic job of modeling this thing. It comes with a lot of extras. You can find it in the marketplace store right now, $24.99. It was just released today. So this is the Vision Jet, the G2 model. They also have a Discord. You definitely want to check them out. They have been working on this for about 1.5 years, I believe, or closer to 2 years. And it is incredible. It's a lot of fun to fly. And it looks sharp. Like, it looks very good. If you're familiar with Flight Sim, Yes, in the marketplace on Flight Sim. In Microsoft Flight Sim in the marketplace. This is only available for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. I'm sorry, maybe I should have made that a little more clear. Not sure if you're prepared or X-Plane. I think X-Plane has a freeware version, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a lot of fun to fly. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, the Vision Jet, I mean, I'm sure you know, being in the Cirrus line of products, but the Vision Jet is supposed to be just like the next step forward for, you know, those aviators coming out of the SR-22s right into this thing, and I see why. So, we're working our way down here. 25, we're going down, what do I have it set to? Oh, I have it set to 3,000. We are pretty much straight in now, runway 8 at Lancaster County, down the RNAV GPS runway 8 arrival, or approach. This thing has been a dream. It climbed all the way to 310 without issue. Did a fantastic job. And we are now on the final phase of this flight. We started up, even though the stream didn't get to catch it, we started up with full cold and dark. Got this thing alive. You could do it so fast. It's not even funny. And it's just a lot of fun to fly. That's all I got to say about it. I got a feeling we're going to start to see our VNAV advisory kind of come into play a little bit here. That's okay. We should see that chevron move down a little bit, I believe. Yeah, because this is calculating us right now to 1900. We're not even at that. We're at 16, just trying to squeeze some of that off. We were a little awash there with that flight plan issue here in the G3000. But we're direct Martinsburg, direct Hyper, and then straight to the Dalek intersection for RNAV GPS 8. Those of you that are tuning in late here, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm Fitz. We're flying the FlightFX Cirrus Vision Jet G2 for Microsoft Flight Sim into Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. They do have Navigraph enabled for this aircraft. Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I will actually pull up the airport chart. The airport chart for Lancaster County right there for you. Navigraph is enabled. This is the working title G3000, so really no surprises if you're familiar with working titles work. I mean, it's basically the same stuff we're all used to at this point. They are committed to. Yep, they are committed. SimBrief. There is a SimBrief profile. It is not integrated into the jet, but there is a SimBrief profile. All right, so down to 16 we are. No, that's not what I needed. Go here and VNAV. I feel like we're going to be a little flat here. We're going to slow this approach, the speed, or this vertical speed up just a little bit. No point in burning a ton of fuel when we get to the bottom here. Yeah, so there is a SimBrief profile. What's really unique about this one, Tesla fam, is that it has its own internal load manager. So that kind of makes SimBrief a little wonky, but if you know how to use it or you know what you're doing, you don't need it, to be honest with you. But you can certainly use it. It's certainly there. All right, so we don't need icing here. It looks like we're going to be fine. Man, this is turning out to be a gorgeous night here. Southern Pennsylvania. Look at this. Look at these windows. What an incredible view. What an incredible view. So we're still auto-throttled here at FMS speed. Just working our way down this approach. Again, this is the RNAV 8, GPS RNAV 8. Not really much to brief here. We do want to hit Dalek at 3,000. We get sim weather for Lancaster County. All right. Yep. 140 at 7. 10 statute clear. So not really much to worry about there. 3023 on the altimeter. 30. What did I say? 23. There we go. Tesla fam, I would tell you also too, they've got a paint kit already out for this thing. SPAD Next profiles if you have like an in-home cockpit you want to get this thing set up for. The Discord is popping right now from new users. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's been really exciting to see everybody kind of get excited about this thing today. It's been a long awaited. It's been around. It's supposed to have, it's been in the mix now for about a year and a half. A lot of teasers. Play terrain off. Map data. Turn it down just a little bit. Not that I'm getting frame hits. I just want to see if it helps it. That certainly didn't feel like it did. No. I don't think it made a lick of difference. No, I don't think it made a world of difference. That's okay. Actually, I think I got better frames when I added them back. All right, we're actually getting close to 10,000 checks here, so let's take a look. Let's go actually back to our checklist. Want to make sure we're hitting all the items. And the ascent checklist. There we go. So altimeter settings. We got that set. Seatbelts and passenger seatbelts. Seats are in upright and locked. We're all set now. We're for the approach. So we're obviously going to be landing the RNAV 8 approach into Lancaster tonight. Pretty much a straight shot down the runway. Don't expect anything except, anything exceptional. No ice concerns. So we've got that turned off. We've got lights as required. We're going to run flaps 50 when we get there, and just going to be targeting that 140 airspeed. Let's look at our speed bugs here for landing. Let's go ahead and get those all up. So that VREF of 90, it'd probably be a little lighter than that, but we'll just use that as our VREF. And we're cruising. Our FMS is keeping us a little faster than it should here. How dare it? Shame, shame. Let's probably need to crank that down a little bit. Well, I think it was stuck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was stuck. I didn't know what to do there, and I think I just triggered it. That's good. Maybe that's something I need to mention to them. gonna slow her down just a little bit. We were rocking it here. Now keep in mind, as I've been talking about most of the evening, this aircraft it's not gonna fly like your normal. Oh, that's gorgeous. It's not going to fly like your normal Citations, or anything else. This thing is going to be flying more of a turboprop flight config than anything else. Why did we turn? Oh, what's going on there? Wait a minute. Oh, the good old bug that is the G1000 user bug fixed. We're good. I don't connect FlightFX. I would love to. I'm not an Apple user. If it was a Samsung supported app, I damn straight I would, but I'm not an Apple user, so unfortunately, no, I don't get the chance to. I know a lot of people do though, and that's really cool. I don't blame you. That'd be a really fun tool to use. All right, we gotta start getting serious here. We're at 5,800. We're still descending pretty quick, and we're gonna end up being a little shallow and flat. We're gonna pull that vertical speed up just a smidge. Yeah, it definitely is not cool for me. We're gonna get our landing lights. We're gonna get icing light on, even though we don't need it. It makes us more visible. And we're ready for flaps 50 once we get there. It's worth it, I bet. I bet it is. If I was an Apple user, I'd have it all day. I would have it all day. Alright, so now you hear the aircraft. It's starting to use that auto throttle a little bit more now. Try to find the right speed to nail this this approach with, or nail this. Try not to be underspeed or overspeed. It's starting to work itself a little bit as we cross under the 4,000 mark. Again, we needed to be at 3,000 at Dalek. We're gonna be shallow here, but that's okay. We're gonna be at Delro at 3,000. And, but that's fine. Dalek at 3 will be very obtainable. We're just going to be low, flying over the Dutch countryside here just a little bit, but that'll be okay. Man. I'm just going to be quiet for just a second, and we can listen to some of these sounds as we ascend down into eastern Pennsylvania. The sound set alone in this thing is worth the $24.99. All right, so we are all set here. We're about 2,000 to go. We're about to hit 3,000, and we're going to settle out. We'll actually bump the FMS speed up a little bit so that we can keep up some of the pace. We're going to need it because we're going to be a little flat here. That's okay. We're a little early on the descent. Pretty much a straight shot in here to runway 8 in Lancaster. I imagine we'll get the visual here in a little bit. I haven't quite yet. That's okay. All right, and there's 3,000. And come on, auto throttle, what are you doing over there, bud? Hey man, I'm glad to hear it, and I hope you enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It really is, and it's a great short hop plane. The FlightFX saying is been, hey, it's okay to be, play favorites. It really is with this aircraft. It really is. All right, let's restart the auto throttle there. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't quite understand how this functions in the FMS. There we go. Yeah, man, Tesla, I hope you see you in the skies. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, so we're getting close to Delro now, 9 miles. We're gonna be flat. That's okay. We got the speed up to 180. That's about as fast as we're gonna do in the terminal area. So at this point, we'd be announcing on Unicom in November 622 Alpha Romeo, I'm sorry, 6 miles from Delro, or 7 miles from Delro on the RNAV GPS runway 8, Lancaster County. Call that. A little bit of haze right there, but overall, a gorgeous, gorgeous sunset in the sim. As we get ready to bring this FlightFX Sirius Vision Jet G2 as a final approach. I don't have those smooth drone controls. I'll work on them though, Chad, I promise. I promise I'll work on them for you. So we've already briefed our approach. We know we're coming in here on the RNAV 8. We're going to descend. We want to be at 2,500 for the whatever fix it was after. Let's see. There we go. So Dalek will be 3,000. Polku would be 2,500. And at that point, we should have visual, and we will take the visual approach in tonight. One of the things I've been hearing a lot from a couple of the streamers that have been flying with this aircraft is that the windows, they're so massive, and they really, really are. And that you have a tendency to favor the left side of the left side of the runway. So I want to see how much of that comes to fruition and how hard it is to manage. It did it again. Didn't it? I can't wait for them to fix that bug. Oh, I can't wait. Alright, so 3,000. 4 miles from Dalek. All right, there we go. We've activated the approach. I'm not sure if it makes a difference or not. Okay. And then let's go. We're already nav mode. Take this thing down to 15 or 1400. And then now direct Polku. Still don't have a visual. We'll take this down to maybe a Polku at 2500. Just continue marching on down the GPS. RNAV 8. Oh, I see strobes. That may not be for our airport, but that's okay. Pretty stiff crosswind here from the right. 24 knots. Yeah, that is going to be Lancaster runway 8. And we'll kick this into approach mode, so it's going to intercept at the chevron here and take us down. You're set to go to... It's going to pick up the glide path. We're going to go through 1400. Let's go ahead and roll the speed back some. Man, people say this aircraft is, some of the folks are saying this aircraft doesn't slow very well. That just did, but then again, we were on level flight, so maybe that's why. All right, so regardless what happens here, we are visual. We do see the runway. We are going to continue following the glide path for the. We were supposed to intercept the approach there. For some reason, we didn't. All right. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and kill that. And, we're going to go full manual here. And I very well may not have flown that correctly, and that's okay. I killed the autopilot. Did that kill auto throttle? It sure did. We're going to continue downward here. Go ahead and get the gear out. Gear in transition. Flaps 50 coming out. We're going to trim down. That's a little steep. We're gonna go flaps full. Pretty stiff crosswind from the right. We're still a little fast, that's okay. A little high. Still a notch high, and we're bleeding off that speed. Keep in mind, we're looking at a VREF. We're going to cross the fence at about 90 to 95. We're going to do that. Little nose up trim. Just about half a Mark high. She's coming right to speed here, a little fast. We're going to pull a little more throttle out of her. More throttle out. Just a smidge fast here, but controllable. You've got to fly this aircraft all the way to the runway. You're not going to cut the throttles here early. And we got slow fast. A lot of back pressure. Pull the rudder out of it, a little left wing. Ooh, pitchy. We're gonna float. Oh, big float. Oh, big pitch. There we go. Woo! And then on the brakes. That was kind of sporty. That wind was tough. Find the center line there, Shawnee boy. All right, welcome to Lancaster. We've got November 62 Alfa Romeo at home. Not too shabby of a flight. We're gonna get her cleaned up. Here come the flaps. Gonna make the right turn right here. Ooh, turn, baby, turn. And then we got a taxi all the way back down. It's the unfortunate part of landing 8 here at Lancaster, but that's okay. So, first full flight in the FlightFX Cirrus VisionJet G2. Phenomenal visuals. It looks great. It performs from a system frame perspective. Performs very, very well. Very happy with it. We just did. I mean, keep in mind, we just took this thing through its paces. Did about a 480-mile flight. All the way up to 310. Had a fantastic head or tailwind, so that helped us quite a bit. But there's a couple little quirks, a couple things they're going to be working on, I'm certain. And that's okay. Aircraft still, it's a little pitchy, a little sensitive to that. Oh, we gotta give her some right rudder here. But outside of that, it flies. It's easy to fly. It's easy to relatively easy to hand fly. And it's exactly what it should be. It's a simple, yet complex. If that makes any sense. It is full of automation. We're gonna make a left here. It is full of automation, full of all sorts of systems. You're not gonna get bored. You're gonna come back to this time and time and time again. So if you're sitting on the trigger, waiting to buy this aircraft, I strongly encourage you to just do it. It's worth the $24.99. I have spent way more for way less aircraft, and I'm thoroughly excited to have this thing home here in Lancaster, where we could do some additional videos. We're gonna get some tutorials out for those of you that have a little bit of trouble going through the VAMs. We will also get a tutorial out on how to get this thing running from a cold and dark standpoint, which it should be pretty straightforward, but definitely doesn't hurt to get on some videos to help some folks out. All right, we're gonna pull her up here. We didn't even get a chance to do the checklist because we weren't stable enough, but that's okay. All right, perfect. We are at our hangar here at Lancaster. Got the throttle all the way back. All right, there we go. Parking brake is set. That's all you got to do, this thing. Shut her down. Now, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and kill our strobes and our landing light. We don't even need to clear this checklist. We're all set there. We've completed our flight. It's time to get out of this thing. It's time to stretch our legs, welcome this beauty home. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream here tonight. Oh, I see the lights come on. That was sick. The lights came on in the back. That was amazing. Oh, one more thing. Look at these cool courtesy lights. You know when you open the door of your car and the lights light, like the lights under the mirrors and stuff light up? This plane's got them. How cool is that? Anyway, so we are home. We're gonna put this thing in the hangar, polish her up a little bit, and you're gonna see us real soon in some additional videos. Again, we're gonna cover takeoff. We're gonna talk about the VAMs, and very well I could get a landing in there for you as well if I could get them figured out. This thing's a little squirrely, but that's okay. If you haven't already done so, head on over to FlightFX's Discord and get connected with them. A lot of helpful dudes there, a lot of great people there, a lot of folks that have been eager to answer questions. Join over there, and if you also haven't done so, come be my co-pilot. Hit subscribe here on the channel. We appreciate you being here. New video out tomorrow. I don't know what it'll be yet. Probably be about VAMs. A really good topic to talk about, but stay tuned. I'm Fitz. I'm out. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye now.